Arash Madani is with us now. From
Man who never sleeps.
kind of like me. Now you're not in Sochi. What's the name of the suburb you're in?
Adler. We actually just got back to the hotel.
Oh, okay. And where were you today?
Phil Kessel turned. Well, we were at the hockey game.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know where you're going. I don't know what your schedule is, Madani. Giving me attitude already. I just asked where you were today. Just want to clarify whether you saw the hockey game.
To the conversation about Kessel, guys. Basically, since the playoffs started last year, he has been a completely different player for. What are we now? 8 months now?
Yeah, a couple little dips, but essentially, no, you're right. He has been terrific.
And Chris Johnson and I were having the conversation. He said there has been nobody better over the last 6 weeks in the entire NHL than Kessel. It's interesting.
Phil Kessel, best player on earth. Debating point.
Wow.
Well, let's not get carried
the last
away.
6 weeks, right? That would be, unless there's somebody in the KHL that's been lighting it up.
The last 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, that's still.
Over the last 6 weeks. That's sample size.
Did you think Phil Kessel would be the best player on earth for any 6-week period of your life?
No.
I wasn't sure he was going to be the best player on earth for any 6-day period of my life.
Well, there you go.
How about 6 hours? So,
I'd give him that.
So did you go to the hockey game because why? Because you wanted to?
Out of passion, I think would be correct.
Like, what were your choices today?
My choices were go to the hockey game tonight because I was assigned, or go to the hockey game tonight because I was assigned,
or come home.
Or come home.
Well, that's because all the
Mike
hockey.
Mike Babcock was happy, guys. Just that it was so physical. He said that was the best thing that we needed right there. That guys just really got to. I mean, Canada every year in the Olympics has a dud to open it, right?
Sure.
I mean, they're real slow out of the gates. But what Babcock liked about it was just that there was a lot of bang to it, and that the guys really got antiquated in a hurry to what they're going to have to deal with in this tournament.
Are there 2 rinks on the go here, Arash? I haven't seen the layout. I assume there's 2 hockey rinks, right?
Well, there's one for the ladies. Ladies play in a different arena.
So what other? Did you see more than one game today?
I only saw the one game. I went over to short track and watched I watched Saint Gelais and then the men bomb out in the relay. But we were at the women's arena yesterday for Canada US, and that's a terrific little barn that probably seats about 5,000, and the men's venue probably is in and around 10 or 12,000, and they're both brand new, and they're electric. Both of them were. Even for Canada-Norway today, every Russian fan that stayed was rooting for Norway, of course. So the place was going tonight. There was no question.
Well, I can't remember what I was going to ask something, and then I got distracted listening to you tell your story. And I don't remember what the hell I was going to say.
Have you ever seen short track, Bob, live?
It's cool, isn't it?
I saw it in Vancouver. Yeah, it's great as opposed to figure skating. Yeah, figure skating is when you need to have somebody come and shoot you about halfway through.
But I don't know if there is an event live that is crazier than short track. That's just more wild and has so many moving parts to it.
Oh, it's great.
Than short track. It's terrific theater.
Except it may just be me, but it seems to me in the earliest days of short track they allowed more stuff to go on. Like it was more like bumper cars or roller derby or something, you know?
It still is.
Not much.
They just penalize the people more.
Well, no, but I liked it better the old days, you know, when you used to be able to ride a guy out into the boards and, you know, slew foot him as he was going by.
You also love receivers going over the middle and getting their heads knocked off too, right?
No. I mean, we don't want injuries.
Oh.
We don't want guys getting hurt.
So, Arash, we've gone Canada's now gone 24 hours without a medal or a heartwarming story, correct?
What the hell is going on?
How can this is a drought. It's both a sentiment medal drought.
Who needs to get a speech going for these Canadian athletes?
Canada is tumbling
in the Olympic Village here, in the Athletes Village.
Canada is tumbling in the standings, and we need to stop this.
It's been an unbelievable run, though. From the feel-good story, and just when you thought the cross-country coach couldn't have been surpassed, there was the Morrison Junio thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been one after another, and I mean, Steve, you've covered a million more of these than I have. I can't remember an opening week quite like this, where it's had just about everything go right for a country.
No, like the traditional Canadian Olympics, and Vancouver kind of changed a lot of things, but the traditional Canadian Olympics was a terrible first week, and then a what the hell is wrong with Canada moment for everybody.
But we did that in Vancouver last year.
It was a little slow, but we had our, Bilodeau had won and some things, at least some good things had happened, but and then usually somebody talks about funding. There was always a funding press conference in the middle of it where somebody said, of course we're not. No, it's the other way around. It's the athletes saying, of course we're not winning because we don't have enough money. And
and I would say then get off your ass and go get some.
Oh, stop it. Anyway, hands would be wrung. There would be a lot of that, and then things by the end of it would kind of be what you expected it to be. But no, they've never gotten off to the kind of start they got off at this one. And I think the funny thing about it is, Arash, and it is great, but I think you've got new events which are part of it. And the results are going to and they're going to win and they're going to win 30 medals. So that's fantastic. But I think there's some there are some little lurking not so happy stories here. The Alpine team is nowhere, it would appear.
And we didn't expect them to be anywhere.
Yeah, but you got to kind of ask yourself in this country why what happened to alpine skiing. And the other thing is, and I know the Denny Morrison story, an unexpected fantastic story.
That's great.
But Christine Nesbitt was 10th today, I think, in her with the race where she won the gold medal last time. She's not herself at all. They might win
she's done.
Yeah,
her body is just absolutely finished.
Yeah, and I think she's got confidence issues too. Arash, the two probably go together.
She took a break. Yeah, she took a break altogether from competing a few months back.
And I guess
you're right, Steve.
And the other interesting one is going to be, we have a long history of male figure skaters, who are world champions, who go to the Olympics and can't win a gold medal. And, Patrick Chan's second, but the guy who's ahead of him, outskated him in the short program. Are we going to repeat that one again this time around?
Well, to me, that is, and I'm just waiting for Bob to, light my ass up on this one. To me, Patrick Chan could very well be the story of the Olympics if Canada is really turning the page and taking the next step or not. Look, there's going to be a curling medal. There's going to be a couple of hockey medals, you would presume.
Mm-hmm.
The traditional second week medals are going to come. And, we've won a lot of golds and silvers in sports that no one's really heard of, until 4 or 5 years ago, or in some cases until this year. But that men's figure skating gold has been so elusive. It was for Orser, it was for Stoico, it was for Browning, despite all their world championships. If Chan can do it, especially with the rocky season he's had, then I think that really opens eyes, because it's, with all due respect, it's one thing to win ski cross and slope style. It's another to win speed skating, but in particular men's figure skating. There's no 100-meter dash in the Winter Games. But if there is one marquee event, well, among the marquee events, this is one of the big ones. And to do what nobody else has done before in our country, when you consider the names I just mentioned, that changes the whole dialogue of all of this.
And, because he skated in, that ridiculous team competition and didn't look good in a short program, it's kind of elongated the drama of Chan at these Olympics, because, he had that rocky performance and he was better today, obviously. But, right now, if you're watching today, you'd say he's not, the cutting edge is not him at this moment. And, there was the melodrama with Plushenko today, which we haven't talked about at all, which was quite something.
Well, we should, because I saw that actually happen
when he.
I had the TV on that.
Pulled
on
a groin
channel.
And pulled out,
or a back. Was it a groin? Something? Because they were talking like it was a back problem. So do you know what the hell happened there?
That looks to be it. I don't. I was at the hockey, but from what everybody was talking about, that's going to be it for him. He's done for good. He's retiring. I mean, he came back just for this.
He already announced his retirement.
When that happened. Yeah.
And that was the only good part of that, the team thing, is that he got his moment and the Russians got their moment, and it was kind of, the guy coming from out of the fog and pulling it off one more time. So he did get something out of these Olympics. So but
it's a big break for everybody else.
Yeah, although I don't think anybody knew. I'm not sure how many people thought he could sustain it through if you saw, a long program.
Did you see him skate in the team thing?
Yeah, it was great.
He was impeccable.
I did.
He was perfect.
He was really good.
He was terrific.
He was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have bet on him. In front of a Russian crowd, His last kick at the can, we thought.
I don't know. The job.
I figured he was going to be perfect, and he was he was the gold medal favorite.
That Japanese kid that Orsa is coaching.
Bob. Maybe too many people did bet on him, and that's why he had to pull out.
Well, I hear he's a bit of a dink too. I've never met the guy.
Oh.
Well, he's a big personality. I think he's got he's got a swagger to him. He could play the villain if he had to. He's a dramatic figure skater. What a shocking thing.
Well,
right.
Man, he's good.
Kind of goes with
Who's
the territory.
Won gold before. He won in Torino.
He's good. Well,
so that takes away one element from that competition, unfortunately. But I think you're right. I think you're right, Arash. That the Chan is going to be, it's not a make or break of the Olympics, but it's a big one. It's bigger than a lot of other. Yeah. I don't care if we finish fourth in the luge relay, but I am going to kind of watch him, and I think he's a good kid too. I'm rooting for
him. And Steve, you know what else I'm tired of? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if people get offended. I'm tired of Moyer and Virtue. I'm tired of their reality show. I'm tired of them being the face of the team competition. I'm just tired of seeing them everywhere. This is about Patrick Chan. This is about getting what Canada's never gotten before.
Yeah.
So
I know. Ice dancing is. I'm kind of done with that actually, but I because it's entirely a judge sport, and because they don't jump. I know figure skating purists we get a lot of them listening to this show are throwing their radios out the window right now. But
we do not.
Because it's and it also always seems to be fixed. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Because it's easy to fix it because they don't jump.
You mean like boxing?
Well, they don't jump and they don't fall down, so you can fix it easily.
Yeah, but it's some guy with a pen and a piece of paper. 5.6.
No, so it's an easy one to fix, and they apparently fix it every time. So I'm kind of done with that whole thing too, Rush. I'm with you there.
Have you been over to the figure skating? Have you ever seen figure skating live? And all the things you've covered?
I have seen figure skating live, but I haven't been over there yet. Everything is for the figure skating has been what they call a high demand event, and it's just actually conflicted with a number of other things.
Well, that's good.
To do. So I'm hoping to get over there at some point.
I'll never go to another figure skating event as long as I live. I'll watch it on TV. It's okay on TV.
No,
I can stomach it on TV.
Bob.
Never.
Now, more importantly, Raj,
never.
We discussed, your nocturnal habits, going to trailers and drinking with people before.
Yes.
Are you having any fun? Have you had any cultural experiences? Have you started to get more of a sense of life beyond the Adler bubble?
Had a little bit of fun, yes. Culture, no. Adler bubble, very little outside of it. One of the senses here, guys, you're not even really experiencing Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we talked about the other night, everything is so new. When you're in the Olympic Park, it feels like you're in Disneyland because everything is just concentrated there. You're not in a city. And to get into Sochi proper is 30, 40 minutes away. We went in there the other night, but it was like a Monday or Tuesday night. There wasn't, much happening.
I hear it's dead.
This is not Russia. It's 20 degrees and sunny in February, and everything's got a fresh coat of paint on it and it's sparkling. Like there's nothing to complain about. It's just you're not really getting the actual country here.
Yeah, and that's too bad.
If that makes any sense.
Because again, the experience of going to the Olympics, and you are kind of on planet Olympic when you're at the games, especially covering it. You are within that,
of course,
that the world of buses and venues and security and all that stuff. But the joy of these things is being able to walk down the street in Lillehammer or Barcelona or London or Athens, and kind of soak it up. Not so much in Atlanta, but in those other places, you could kind of say, boy, I'm in a different place here, and it's an interesting place. And, sometimes places where the sports kind of, especially in Norway, where the sports kind of linked up with real life, it doesn't sound like it's an option there, which is kind of too bad.
No, and every restaurant here, within the Adler, within the area of the Olympics, it's all new, and it's all been basically put up in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's got laminated pages for its menus, for instance. And, this is not a gripe. It's just kind of trying to explain how this whole thing is. They have an amusement park being built within Olympic Park because as soon as the Olympics are over, they're turning the media center into a shopping mall, and that's what's going to kind of go down there. So we're in suburbia. It would almost be like calling the Olympics in Toronto, but hosting them, in Burlington or Oakville. Before Burlington Oakville was even built.
So Bob Nicholson was on earlier, and he called me this morning because he does that, and
right.
And so I was asking him about it because a mutual friend had told me he talked to Nick a couple days ago, and Nick was saying it's the best organized games he's ever been to, and like really quite stunning, and really in line with what you've been telling us the last couple of days. So today I'm talking to him on the phone, and he said, I said, how's your hotel? And he says, well, it's great, it's fine, it's all brand new, it's everything. He says, but here's the best part. He said the night before they arrived. And I don't know whether he went over with Team Canada or whether he went over early because he's the vice chairman of the IIHF or whatever. Anyway, he says the night before he arrived, none of the hotel rooms had washrooms. And they brought none, he says. Now, Nicholson does tend to exaggerate, but he says they brought 400 workers in overnight. And by the next morning, every room had a washroom.
Well, we arrived on Tuesday of last week, and I went for a walk around our area, and there was a building where it was supposed to be basically will call ticket pickup. There was only one of 4, and one of them's at the airport. This one place was not built either. There was supposed to be a park built adjacent to it. That wasn't built either. When our camera guy arrived, Rick Houston arrived on Wednesday. On Thursday, we went over across the bridge. The entire thing was built, and the park was operational.
Same kind of story, huh? I guess if you got...
And Rick kind of looked at me, and he said, did you drink a little on Tuesday? This thing is... And I was just gawking. I'm like, how could this be? But that's kind of how it was, in that week, that rush before they lit the flame.
If you got a $50 billion budget, I guess you can pay some people some overtime.
Yeah.
Well,
do that.
What are you doing tomorrow? Going to a hockey game again, huh?
Going to watch Canada play Austria.
Yeah, well, that'll be a thrill.
I gotta go watch some more short track too, guys. That's just.
Oh, it's great.
I think you got to get up in the mountains, Arash.
No, forget the
mountains.
We
were there last week. It's just logistically, that's the one that
it's hard to get to, right?
Tough with.
Yeah. I hear it's beautiful.
Especially when you got to come back for hockey and everything.
Jesus, hockey. Look, I got news for you.
That's Arash's life. You got to
tell the Maroons downstairs that when they call you and ask you what hockey report you got, like everybody watches the games. We know what's happened. We don't need hockey reports, okay?
But, Bob, Carey Price is not going to dress tomorrow. Mike Smith is going to be Luongo's backup.
Well, and how about this? Scotty Bowman predicted on this show that Luongo would play all the rest of the games. Price will not get a sniff. Now, I don't know if he knows something, but he's Scotty Bowman. He's pretty smart.
He's Scotty Bowman.
We got to go. Go to bed, for God's sake, will you?
All right, guys. Good talking to you.
Thanks, Arash.
27 before the hour, Arash Madani.
Nice of him to stay up late for us.
He keeps telling me the name. Adler?
Adler.
Is that the name of the place?
Yes.
What kind of a name is that? Adler, Russia.
Adler, Russia.
Adler. Sounds like it's in Alberta.